Hey everyone, so another midweek video. Not sure if I'll keep up with the midweek videos, but this is something quite special. As you've probably seen in the thumbnail and the description, this is quite a special thing for me. So I managed to pick this up the other day. It was through like a Facebook thing, and it's virtually mint. When the box is a bit tatty, as you can see, and some of the figures are missing, but the actual what's in here, going by the pictures, was pretty much mint. And I'm going to go through it with you. We're going to do a bit of an unboxing. So for those of you who don't know, this is Warhammer 40,000 2nd edition. This is the box set that kind of started the whole thing of games coming in the boxes. Beforehand, before we had this beautiful thing, we had, let's put that down there, this beautiful thing. And I was using this beautiful thing for about, so that came out, second edition came out in 93. I was 12 when I started playing 40k, and I was 19, so that was 7 years, so 93, 86? Yeah, 86 sounds about right, 86, 87? I think it was 87, when this bad boy comes out. Now this is my original Road Trader, my original hard copy Road Trader. It's beautiful, I still go through it, brings back loads of memories. Really was a great book, so much. I mean, I never played the game for about 3 years, but I should read this book from cover to cover every week because it's so much lore and fluff. And look at this, look, really, this is where it all started. This is where it all started. Don't throw anything away, kids. We'll make some stuff. I think, is it at the back here? Somewhere there's like a whole, there we go. You're like making stuff out of yogurt pots and sand casting. It's like, come on. Anyway, so I had this for about 7 years, and it started off as this, and then you had the compilation, then you had the compendium, then you had the Astronomicon, and then you needed the battle manual, and then you needed the vehicle manual. I think you needed the combat manual. About 7 or 8 books in all to play 40k. So when this thing was released, it was a revelation. Now I was working for the Games Workshop at the time. When this came out, I was 19, and I wasn't a manager, but I was running a shop. The shop I was at, which was the South End store, didn't have a manager, and they couldn't put one in. I was deemed too young to be a manager because I was 19, and in retrospect, they were probably right, but at the time I was pretty annoyed about it. But I did get to do managerial things. I got actually a little extra pay for covering the shop. But I got to do managerial things. And the managerial thing I had to do was go to Nottingham for a couple of days, and we used to have big managers meetings, and we used to discuss things. And what we discussed was this bad boy, this coming out. And what a revelation. Anyway, look, enough talking. Let's open it up. So, this was the box art. Beautiful blood angels, firing in all directions, surrounded by goth orcs. Can't say fairer than that. That's what it says on the tin. So there we go. I mean, I'll say the box is a bit, but who cares? Anyway, so we open it up, and what do we find? Yes, we find plastic figures. Now, there was only a couple of plastic kits at the time when this was out, and these were the new Orcs and new Marines. So the Marines were in the Mark 7 style as well. We only had Mark 6s. Well, we had some Mark 7s in Space Crusade, and I think possibly some metal ones, but these are the first plastic Mark 7 Space Marines. Anyway, so the box set, you've got 40 of these bad boys, and if you can see them, I'm not sure if it's focusing. So 40 grots. Now, they're all exactly the same figure. All exactly the same. But you know what? You didn't care back then. This was a revelation. I don't think there were any grots. I don't think there were 40k Gretchen at the time. I think you had to use goblins and give them bolt guns, or any old gun you could find. I don't think there were plastic goblins or plastic orcs. I remember the plastic orcs. They were multi-part, but they were not plastic. Anyway, so this was a revelation. So you got 40 of them. Wondrous things. Look at them. Look at them. 40 of these bad boys. You also got 20 goth boys. Now, I've only got 12 in this box. There is one other one. It's a mission there. Yeah, here he is. So I knew about this. I knew about this before. And the guns are in there as well, I think. Yeah, they are. Let's see, the gun that's missing off there is here. So, Goth Orc Boys. Now, they were plastic orcs at this point. Multi-part. And they were going pretty good for back in the day. They were well, I say multi-part, you glued the arms on, the heads and the weapons. That was it. But again, these were far better detailed. Or yes, they were in very static poses. But because the gun arm was separate, you could put it up there, and it could be up there, and it could be there, and it could be down there. You could cut the gun off, give it another gun, if because you still have the weapons from the older orc sprues. You could have that arm off and give them a heavy weapon. Plasma cannons they used to come with. I think they were plastic orcs. Power claws. And then the axe as well. So you could cut the hand off and you could twist them round or take the weapon off, give it different. So, take the horns off as well to give you a bit of variation. So, although they were exactly the same figure, you could do a fair amount with them to give you a little bit of variation in your Goth Orcs. So, Goth Orcs. Now, the reason I'm so fond of these, the reason these guys have got a space in my heart is I've painted thousands of this box set. Because as I said, at the time, I was working for the Games Workshop. So you had to get a set painted, ready for the shop. They had to be replaced. These were the figures we were using for demo painting. I have painted thousands of these. But it might be nice to paint some more. Just, as a bit of memory. Go a little trip down the old Memberberry Lane. So there we go. So that was all. Now, this is beautiful. So I don't think there are any plastic Space Marines. Apart from the RTB01 set, this was the first plastic Mark 7, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but as far as I'm aware. Here we go. So you've got 20 Space Marines. Grossly overpointed, by the way. 20 Space Marines versus 40 Grots and 20 Orcs was way... Even though you did get a card of Dreadnought, which I'll show you in a bit. So these were the Space Marines. Again, you've got 7 with bolt guns, exactly the same pose. You've got 1 Sergeant, plastic Space Marine, and I believe you got a flamer as well. So pretty basic. Now, obviously, you can swap the flamer out for a melter gun, melter gun, plasma gun, that kind of thing at the time. I think at this point, possibly Space Marines could still have shuriken catapults. So you could do that. And again, with the heavy weapon as well, the backpack was the same. So if you had some spare ones knocking around, you could swap that out. And you could do, different heavy weapons as well. Space Wolf players out there were swapping basic Marines for these to make long fangs. Because long fangs, they weren't the thing at this point, but then in this box set's life, long fangs became the thing. So yeah, you got 20 Space Marines. Awesome. So that was that. Oh, of course, you got your dice. You got your sustained fire dice. So weapons like these are great. Weapons like assault cannons had sustained fire dice and heavy bolters. So you either have 1, 2, or 3. Assault cannons had 3, and you'd roll these, and that's how many shots you got out. But that was a jam. So you got the shots off, but you couldn't fire the weapon next turn. Now, if you got 2 of them, that was a double jam. If you got 3 of them on an assault cannon, the weapon exploded. So that was pretty cool. And you got your scatter and misfire dice. So this is for things like you had hopsplat field guns and catapults and that kind of thing. And you rolled them. And missiles as well. If you got that, it was a hit. Any of those was the direction, and that was how many inches it veered off. That was for things like missile launchers and that kind of thing. Okay, so that was the revelation. That was the plastics in a box set. These were all pushed together as well. I mean, they did flop about a bit, like a bit of a wet fish in the bases, but you didn't need to glue them. And obviously, the Orcs and Marines are different enough. You didn't really need to paint them if you were just being casual. But, not like today where they do things in different colours. Anyway, so this was the rule book. Now, this was the rule book. So that was that. And that was a marked difference. Yes, this is hardback, but a marked difference. But this was just pure rules. There was no fluff in this book, I believe. It was, it was just pure, nice. Oh, look at the lurid 90s colour schemes. Good God, trying to paint these was just like, tumour-inducing. Trying to paint in this style was a nightmare. And I had Blood Angels back then. I think every Marine's would take me like a day with about 12 coats of paint, working up from a terracotta brown. But, you know, look at all this. I mean, so a lot of this was carryover from the first edition. So you had, still had the first edition land speeder. Look at that. That was a pig to put. It was all metal. That was all metal. And an utter pig to put through. Old metal scorpions. Beautiful. Look at this. Look at this. At one point, I'm going to find a figure in here from the Eldar range that that's probably still available. Yeah, I'm sure there is. Old assassins. Oh, Metal Gretchen. I think they came out at the time. Well, these were coming out at this time, so there was some Metal Gretchen at the time. Look, even scratch built. What's that? Brain Crusher. So Brain Crushers were from the Epic game, and there's a scratch built one. Look, the original Garrick. Oh. Beautiful. Anyway, so that was purely rules. That was purely, and your reference sheets at the back. So that was purely rules. Codex Imperialist, now if memory serves, this was your fluff book. Now, even so, combined, are these the same thickness? Just a little bit shy. Just a little bit shy. So a bit of trimming's come out of this. A bit of trimming, probably a little bit more better layout, really. But your Codex Imperialis wasn't a codex, as we know it. This was your fluff and your beastry, for want of a better term. So back at this time, you had, I believe it was 4th edition fantasy had just come out, or was coming out. And in fantasy, you had the beastry, which was like what all the stats for all the creatures. And this was kind of what this was. So you had all your stats there. But look, Electro Priests, back in 1993, guys. Madness. So, yeah, so this was your fluff. Your background for all your races and that kind of thing. We won't look at that. We'll save that for the next book, and the book that gives me the biggest warm feeling. So, as mentioned, we were up in head office, up in Nottingham, doing a management meeting for 2 days. On the last day, we got to take some of this home with us. Well, not home, but back to the shop so we could get it painted. So when they released the game, we had it ready to go, and we knew the rules. So we got a rule book. We didn't get the box, but we got a rule book. I think we got 10 Marines possibly, and some grots and all. I can't remember the exact figures we got, because this was what we got. And I travelled back from Nottingham to London, because that's how you had to do it back in the day. I think to go to Nottingham by train, you still have to go from Southend to Nottingham. I don't live in Southend anymore. That's just where I was working. And that train had about 30 managers in it, travelling to London so then they could shoot off. And we were silent for 2 hours on the train, poring over this. Because at this point, up to this point, 40k, army lists were in about 7 books. Oh, you needed at least 3 books to do 1 army. Nightmare. Total nightmare. And you didn't really do this whole swapping weapons out and min-maxing and all that kind of thing. You made your army. That was your army. It didn't matter who you were going up against. You went, I've got 1,000 points. I've got 1,000 points. You know, not many of us were sort of like, oh, well, I'll have a choice of... You point out your army, and that was it. Anyway, this had all the army lists and all the points values in it. And it was a glorious thing. Look at it. So you have all your... I think it's got... So yeah, Space Marines. So that's all your Space Marines. Now look, that's 2 pages. That's 2 pages of Space Marine squads, their stats and their weapons options. Now, have we seen the current Marine Codex? There's about 900 entries of Space Marines. But this was it back in the day. The way you selected the armies was you had percentages. So up to half the points value of your army could be characters. So if you were doing a 1,000 point army, 500 points of that could be characters. That was pretty decent. A quarter of the points value, at least a quarter, had to be troops or squads. So right back from 1993 second edition, you had to have basic troops. And then up to half again had to be support. So that's when you could bring in your heavies and your Terminators and your Devastators and your vehicles and that kind of thing. And you could ally with Imperial Agents, so Inquisitors, Assassins, Imperial Guard, Squats, or Eldar. You could ally with Squats and Eldar as a Space Marine. Beautiful, beautiful days. Heady days when I was 19 and knew nothing else. Oh, such times. Anyway, so we had Space Marines and their war gear. Imperial Guard. Don't think Imperial Guard changed that much really in their structure. But you'll note, no Chimeras, no Layman Russes, so none of the variants. Literally, all you had in support was support weapons and vehicles. And the vehicles were Rhinos and Land Raiders. It says, see data faxes. We'll get to data faxes in a minute. So there we go. Imperial Agents. Now, this was just the most bizarrest list in the world. So, in the Imperial, you could have Adeptus Arbites. You could have a Judge. You could have a Champion. You could have a Tech Priest Magos. A Tech Priest Engineer. A Canoness. Veteran Sister Superior. A Preacher. A Confessor. Psychers. Assassins. Inquisitors. There were your characters. Then you could have Arbite squads. Tech Priest squads. Electro Priest squads. There were never any figures for these Electro Priests. 1993 we had Electro Priests. Sororita squads and Grey Knight Terminator squads. So you could do so much with that. Now, the way you equipped things was you had different levels. So take the Inquisitor for instance. You had Inquisitor. He was 45 points. Inquisitor Master 74, and Inquisitor Lord was 110. Now, the higher level you went was how many data cards you can give it, the war gear cards. So at level 3, you can have up to 3 war gear cards. And I will talk about war gear cards when we find out. So, Imperial Agents, and with their war gear and their grenades and stuff. Now, this will bring a tear to a few people's eyes. The Squats. The Squat army list. Look at this. Squats, man. Squats are a thing. I love Squats. I've had a Squat army. I'm doing a slow build Squat army again. Oh, Warlords, Half Guards, Guild Masters, Ancestor Lords, Warrior Squads, Attack Squads, and Thunderer Squads. That was it. It was one page. Oh, Weapons Teams, Bike Squads, Heavy Weapons, Bikes, and Vehicles. Oh, bless it. Orc list. Not really changed much. Freeboot a captain. I think that's still a thing. 3 pages for an Orc list. So Orcs had more things than the Marine list at the time. Eldar. Amazing stuff. Yep. Nothing much has changed there. So all the Harlequins are in there. Your first 5 or 6 Aspect Warriors are in there. There's no Small Spiders or Shining Spears at this point. And Pathfinders were called Scouts. So, and you got Avatars, Farseers, and Warlocks. And Exarchs, no Autarchs at this point. And then Chaos. Chaos lists were pretty crazy as well. So you had Space Marine Commanders, Space Marine Heroes, Space Marine Champion, Noise Marine Champion, because that's when the first Noise Marine came out, the original guy with a guitar. Very heavy metal. Chaos Mages, Beastman Champion, Cultist Coven Leader, Terminator Squads, Space Marine Squads, Noise Marine Squads, Chaos Cultist Coven, Beastman Pack, Chaos Hound Pack. And then you can have all your demons, they're all in there, and it's all your standard demons that are currently available now. Nothing's changed. That was that. And then you had your Tyrannid list. Tyranids. Hive Tyrant, Tyrannid Warriors, Termagants, Gene Sealers, Carnifex. Done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 entries for your Tyranids. But you could also ally with your Gene Sealer army list. And in Gene Sealers, with your Patriarch, with your Magus. And you could have your Gene Sealer Broods, your Hybrid Broods, and your Brood Brothers as well. So that's when you first had your Gene Sealer cult. Glorious. This basically got so many people hyped for the new 40k because I was able to take this back to the shop that I was in, show it to the customers, and they could sit there and repoint their army ready for release. It was just glorious. Just glorious. So, beautiful member berries about this book. Scenario booklet. Yeah, whatever. I don't think anyone ever played scenarios out of these. I think No, we didn't. We didn't even use them for... did we use them for the... I think we might have used them. I think we did use these for the intro games. I think we... No, we didn't. We didn't use these for intro games in shop, but what we did do, I think we did a Saturday where every hour or every 2 hours, because I think there was 4 missions in here, 3 missions. So yeah, every 2 hours with a break, we played the scenario through the scenario book. So that was scenario booklet, how to paint your models. You got this pamphlet was in everything at the time. Any box set, so step by steps and how to paint the models. I mean, the yellow ones are quite cute. And look at that. Look at the gloriousness. Oh. I don't think there's anything out of turn there. Blood drink. No, they're all fairly standard. No Black Templars, you'll notice, because they weren't around until 3rd edition. So, dice and your base. Now that's for your Dreadnought. And this was your Dreadnought. Look at that. So, base. Went on there. And you also had a Dreadnought. There you go. So you could play a Dreadnought out the box. This model one wasn't released. You still have the old ones. The old sort of rounded off Kinder Surprise egg looking ones. But yeah, we were all like, oh my god, the new Dreadnought. And so many little players scratch built Dreadnoughts based on this picture. Isn't it amazing? This is a glorious time. This is a glorious time for scratch building and converting, because Games Workshop was in its infancy. It didn't have the thousands of, especially 40k, it didn't have the thousands and thousands of vehicles and model kits that were anymore. There was, fantasy was much more, much larger in scope. You had these weird cardboard bits of scenery. I won't punch them out, but these literally just folded and you glued in little floors. And these were your war gear cards. Now this is how you gave upgrades to your characters. Let's turn and flip them around, because this is a bit wibbly wobbly, but there you go. So, made your points value at the top. They had what it was, your points value there, what it did in the game, and then who could use it, or so grenades were like one with haywire, and most grenades were pretty much disregarded afterwards. But anyone could have them in the rate. Obviously Eldar could only have Eldar, but there's no reason why you couldn't have a swooping or Exarch with a fire pike and a web of skulls. Why not? Combi weapons, Bionic Eyes, and they all did stuff. So you give a Space Marine captain a Bionic Eye, gave you +1 to hit. Or if you gave that to a Dark Reaper Exarch, that's how you get your +1 to hit. So war gear cards, so you got those in the box. You got more in the Dark Millennium box set, which they brought out about a year later, possibly 6 months. Anyway, so they were your cards. Put those down carefully because they're a bit flippy floppy. How to play, so this was like a quick start guide. Oh, that's what the scenery looked like. Made up. Hopefully you can see that. Templates and summary sheet. So this was your Vortex Grenade template. Some of you might recognise one from Armageddon, which is the dome one. It's pretty much that, but in a dome. So you've got a couple of this, and then you've got more scenery. Put those over there. What's this? Citadel Colour Painting Guide. Oh, dearie me, look at this. That's for another day, I think. We'll have a look at that. There we go. And so, more reference cards. So yeah, so that was your quick references for your boys that you got in the box. These were your mission cards. Yeah, so you both drew a mission card. And that was what you had to do. So you had, engage and destroy the assassins, Dawn. So a lot of what 40k is about was pretty much established in this box set. I think that's why so many people hold it so dear to their heart, especially for me, because like I say, at the time I was, as previously mentioned, I'll mention it again. I was with GW at the time, and so to be with the company when this was released was just an amazing time, really. I was young, I was stupid, I had too much money and not enough sense. Tokens of broken units and plasma weaponry had to recharge. You could hide troops. You had Overwatch. Overwatch's second edition was a nightmare. People just put the entire arms on Overwatch and not move for 4 turns. It was ridiculous. So you had all your templates. That was your heavy flamer, your flamer, and your hand flamer. Beautiful templates. So Mole conversion beamers, frag grenades. It was great. This was a vehicle turning template. So none of this you can turn on the spot. You had to use the turning template to turn. And then this one, you put together and it kind of went bang, 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 bang. That was for like things like Fud guns did that. And Hot's Black Field guns. And then these were your vehicles. I mean, and they were on cards. They were on these data cards. So you had your Space Marine Dreadnought. And that's not the boxy boy. That's not the boxy boy we all know and love. These are the old Dreadnoughts. So you had your Dreadnought, you had your Rhino, you had your Land Raider, you've got another Dreadnought, Predator, another Predator, another Rhino, another Land Raider. So I think I've got 2 boxes worth of it. But that, one, Rhino, Land Raider, Predator, Dreadnought. Okay? That was it. They were your vehicles. They were your vehicle choices. And they were the only... These... Where's the Dreadnought? Get rid of the Dreadnought. They were the only plastic... Apart from the Orc Battle Wagon, which I'm not sure was discontinued at this point. That was it. Land Raider, Rhinos, and Predators. That was it. And that's what the Guard had. And that's what your squats had. And I think if your Gene and your Chaos Space Marines had them. And I think your Gene Cults had them as well. And obviously the Dreadnought... Well, yeah, so yeah, your Battle Wagon was around. And your Dreadnought as well. So that's it, guys. That was what was in the very first Games Workshop starter set for 40k. It was a glorious time. It was a wonderful time. It was 1993. We hadn't heard of the Millennium Bug. I was taking a year out, and I was just before going to university. So I was working full time, and we got this. This was a treasure, and I'm so glad to have it. My next. So I've still got the first edition. I've got a second edition now. I'd love to track down a complete third edition box. That'll be my next goal, because that was a huge game changer in terms of the quality of the plastics. And that's when we got Black Templars. That's when the Black Templars turned up. They were on the box cover, and Dark Elder. It's when Dark Elder first turned up in third edition. So thank you for going through this with me, guys. I hope I haven't bored you too much. I've enjoyed looking through this. It's been an absolute dream. So you take care. I will catch you in the next one. Next video will be a build video. Back to the Necromunda table build. Take care, guys, and I will speak to you very, very soon. Thank you again. Oh, like, subscribe and share. Cheers, guys.